So you are a student. If you're aiming for success, you might be hitting a wall with the conventional advice you find online. The truth is, much of it doesn't translate well to your unique journey. And let's be honest, the current schooling system often falls short in preparing you for the real world. So, here's the game plan. I'm about to unveil the 7 biggest problems plaguing modern education, and more importantly, how you can tackle these issues head-on. Each problem gonna get bigger as we go along. This is practical and tested advices, from girls to career. This is about becoming sexy, becoming the better you. This isn't just about surviving school, it's about thriving beyond it. Get ready to redefine what it means to be a student in today's world. Chapter 1. Find worthy women. Don't date only for time pass that will just waste your time. In today's world, people do not form relationships, and there doesn't seem to be anything wrong with that. Sexualization of women has always been there, but what we see today with TikTok, OnlyFans and the likes is worse, as it paints a world where appearance is more important than character. But for you as a student, this makes it even more difficult to find someone that is worth dating. But here's the thing. It's not about shaming these platforms or the people on it. It is about how these trends influence our perception of relationships and its expectations. The problem is that when people around you are obsessed with attention, whether it is gained through the provocative status or in any other way, what they are actually doing is occupying the space which genuine relationships could never fill. This, therefore, requires a change of mentality. One inspired by stoicism, in which virtue, temperance, and genuine relationships are more important than what is popular on social media. Marcus Aurelius could not have said it any better when he said, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." This applies to relationships as well. Find someone who shares the same values as you, or someone who doesn't give a tinket about fame, but the core. In a world full of distractions, remember, the real power is in being humble and not get caught up in the frippery. When you cross out all that does not concern you, that is when things that do concern you begin to surface. This is where real relationship begins to dawn. Chapter 2. Don't demonize fashion. At school, one would expect that being a hardworking student, deserving of some respect, but alas, the world is not always fair, and it is commonly judged based on appearance and what one wears. It is not a new phenomenon, but the intensification of it has been seen, especially with social media, whereby we barter appearance. You could be a brilliant student who scores excellent grades in all his or her classes, yet if he or she is not dressed in what is fashionable, then he or she is invisible. The problem is not that you should not follow trends, but how trends can hide merit behind superficiality. Psychologically, this is known as the halo effect. It means, if someone looks good or dresses well, we assume they are intelligent or have a good job, or whatever else, without necessarily having any evidence to support such assumptions. But here's the irony. This means that you can dress well, and at the same time manage your academic performance in the best way possible. Therefore, why not go for the best of both worlds? What you wear, how you present yourself, it all matters in our current environment. But don't let it define your worth. Balance is key, just like in life. A Stoic would argue that external appearances are fleeting. It's your character that endures. Epictetus taught that we cannot choose our external circumstances, but we can always choose how we respond to them. In this case, you're free to choose how much you let appearances dictate your social life. Therefore, you better dress well, but not for the purpose of the attraction of the materialistic and non-sustainable admiration. Do not let your looks be a sign of indiscipline and disrespect of your personality. That balance will give you real friends and achievement, the two things that are better than any kind of fame, because they do not fade with time. Chapter 3. Cut off toxic friends. The people you surround yourself with shape who you are. Whether you realize it or not, In school, friendships can either lift you up or drag you down, depending on the company you keep. Some friends might encourage bad habits, vaping, skipping classes, or stirring up trouble, without you even noticing the toll they take on your future. It's easy to be pulled into the chaos of these degenerate friendships, but it's harder to recognize their cost until it's too late. There's a psychological principle called social contagion, where behaviors, attitudes, and even emotions spread through groups like a virus. If your friends are disengaged from school or lack discipline, those habits will inevitably rub off on you. The ancient Stoics understood this well. Seneca wrote, "Associate with people who are likely to improve you." He knew the company you keep would either elevate or erode your character. So how do you identify the friends that hold you back? Look closely at their actions, not their words. Do they skip assignments, show disrespect, or indulge in habits that harm their potential? If they're ticking off more boxes from this list than you'd like to admit, it's time to reassess. Distancing yourself from these influences isn't about judgment. It's about self-preservation. You are not responsible for saving anyone, but you are responsible for guarding your own path. Friendships should inspire you to grow, not to stagnate. Keep those who challenge you to be better, and when you start distancing yourself from the toxic, your own growth will accelerate, freeing you from the weight that holds you back. Just a quick reminder, if you're enjoying this video, please consider like and subscribe, and thanks a lot if you did already. Moving on. Chapter 4. Stand out. It seems in school, people are encouraged to conform to certain set behaviors and appearances. People like to be safe within the crowd, and this makes everyone to be similar, and the uniqueness is not seen. Climbing that corporate ladder might mean dressing smartly, but does it help you be unique? The answer is not as simple as choosing what you should put on, but it is about how you portray yourself. The issue is not in an attempt to look good. Of course, people wish to dress appropriately, and there is importance in that. However, when everyone is following the same trends, its genuine originality becomes hard to find. From the point of view of psychology, people are innate conformists. This is what is called groupthink, which in its essence is a survival instinct. This is why imitation is comfortable, but at the same time, unproductive and non-creative. Thus, Stoicism provides a different set of possibilities. Do not seek validation by society and how you appear to the outside world. Instead, cultivate inner strength and be real. Following Seneca's words, one is not poor who has too little, but the one who desires more and more all the time, when in fact, the true wealth lies in the firmness of one's principles. In other words, one doesn't have to follow the current trends or wear branded clothes to be unique. It is better not to have as much clothing as to have good ones. And also, it is better to have the good character, not the large quantity of it. Do not dress according to trends, but dress according to who you are inside. If you choose uniqueness over conformity, you will get the right kind of attention. And that kind of attention will not only see the clothes you wear, but the person behind them. Chapter 5. Beauty grades. This may sound rather unfair, although studies reveal that the appearance does affect the grades. This is a well-documented psychological occurrence known as the attractiveness bias, in which teachers and sometimes fellow students tend to be more lenient on better-looking students. A survey conducted on over 8,000 students revealed that students that were deemed attractive by the observers received better grades than their less attractive counterparts in 2017. It's a hardcore truth, but it is possible to leverage on it without compromising your ethical standards. This might seem quite demoralizing at first instance. Well, should not the grades then reflect the effort of the students, as it is supposed to be the most deserving students that will be rewarded? On an ideal basis, that would be correct, but that is not how things work most of the time. Do not get mad and upset. Not everything is in your control, but your look and your talent are. Dressing polished, confidently, and appropriately does not only give you an upper hand socially, but across the board, including academically. From a stoic perspective, it's not about manipulating people, but rather understanding human nature and adapting. As Epictetus reminds us, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. No one cares about your feelings. It's about what you allow them to look. You can't control the biases others hold, but you can control how you present yourself in a way that commands respect and attention. But this should not be the only way of dealing with things. Employ this awareness to enhance your looks and your brain. When you gain confidence in both areas, you not only overcome the bias, but you also gain respect in places that matter most. Chapter 6. Adaptability by boring subjects. With this, one of the greatest disappointments a learner can experience in school is learning that not all that is learned seems relevant. You may be in a class, and you will be thinking how this topic will ever be relevant to you in the future. And, to be fair, not every subject will do so, but that is relatively irrelevant. It is not to get you a job, but it is to make you capable of thinking, of reasoning, of finding solutions, and of learning how to deal with the world that is changing every day. Some disciplines, such as math, economics, or information technologies, can be regarded as more utilitarian because they offer learners explicit vocational relevance. But here's the Stoic perspective. I learned that what matters is not the subject, but the experience you make out of it. Marcus Aurelius was right saying, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." In a subject that seems to have no relation to anything important, there is always something to benefit from. The ability to sit through boredom, the skill of concentration. Psychologically, it is beneficial because studying different subjects makes the brain work, thus increasing cognition flexibility. This flexibility enables one to cope up with new challenges, which is very vital in any discipline. Research on neuroplasticity, like the one done by Harvard in 2014, proves that if you practice diversified learning, you improve the brain's capacity to link information from different fields. Instead of rejecting so-called useless subjects, change your perception. Know that the mental discipline which you are developing is what will take you further in life, and not necessarily the knowledge of a particular subject. Thus, with this attitude, every class is a possibility, even if the utility of the material taught is not apparent. Chapter 7. Learn to manage and gain money. School teaches you a lot of things, but often, unfortunately, financial literacy isn't one of them. Many students leave high school without any practical understanding of how money works, missing out on essential skills that could set them up for success. Without this knowledge, you might struggle to manage your finances effectively, limiting your ability to seize opportunities and live the life you envision. From a psychological perspective, early exposure to financial concepts helps develop what is known as financial self-efficacy, the belief in your ability to manage financial tasks and make informed decisions. A 2021 study by the University of Michigan showed that those who learn about money management early on are more likely to be financially secure and less stressed about their finances. To achieve this, one should start with the most fundamental lessons in budgeting, saving, and investing. Look for ways to make money on the go, such as engaging in an entrepreneurial venture or a side job, and put into practice the knowledge of how to handle the money. Participate in actions that help you to gain more knowledge, like selling of snacks at school, as earlier noted. It also helps them to learn how to manage their incomes and expenses from the real life. Thus, acquiring these skills also means equip yourself for financial independence and become the master of your own destiny. It makes you a better decision maker in terms of choice. Thus, money ceases to be a cause of worry, but is a tool for change. Not only it would be wise to invest a small amount, such as $100 or $200 in crypto, but it will also be entertaining to do so, as it has been stated in the analysis. The market is volatile, and therefore it is important to take time and make informed decisions. There is also many fake ones. However, there are many free resources and courses to learn the basics of programming online. This investment can be used as a teaching tool in the subject of finance, and also the means to obtain profit in the future. Also consider an opportunity now to begin making YouTube videos, Facebook pages, or blogging about something that interests you. Engage the platform. Share your experiences with crypto or any other passion that you may have and create a community. It can also be a good strategy for one to build an online presence in the area of digital marketing. Or one can buy a domain and develop a website to market products or services to the consumer. While these activities provide practical training, they can also be fun pastimes that could potentially become highly paid occupations. This way, you get skills through learning and at the same time get to practice what you learn through pursuing what you may consider interesting. And women find it sexy. Now you might want to look at our video on muscular habits. Time to go. Peace.